Hey, I'm Hunt, and this is Hunt on LSU, your channel for LSU Fighting Tiger football talk. Enjoy the video. We want you to leave a comment below, hit that like button, and subscribe right below the video. Enjoy. LSU wins 62-0 over Army on Saturday night. Look, it's not a competitive football game. It's not one that you're going to have a ton of huge takeaways from. What I like to do, or the way I like to look at that is, man, the weather was awesome. Campus was buzzing. It was fun. There were a lot of people out. Sometimes these games later in the season, non-conference, doesn't draw a great crowd. There was a great crowd on hand. I know a lot of folks brought some youngsters to this one. A little easier game for those folks to get to. So, it was just, we don't get a lot of Saturday nights in Death Valley. We sit there all summer long and think about football. So, yeah, it was 62-0, and yeah, LSU won by a bajillion, but it was a cool day on campus for a number of reasons. Saw a lot of folks in military uniform. Of course, the governor is a West Point graduate. He did the coin toss. Saw the parachuters that came in. Both teams sang each other's alma maters together after the game. There was some pageantry involved. It was just a cool day. Football-wise, day-wise, 2 thumbs up. I had a great time. But we will talk about kind of some of the things that we saw. Look, LSU was facing an Army team that did not have its starting quarterback. Bryson Daly got hurt against Troy last week. We didn't really know what his availability was going to be, and he didn't play. So they go out there with Champ Harris, and Champ Harris is the same quarterback as a freshman that played last week against Troy, and they didn't score a point. So you're facing a team that just doesn't have very much punch offensively, and then defensively, SEC teams can't keep up with you, much less Army. So it was just a demolition from start to finish. LSU started fast and played well throughout the game. They did everything they needed to do in this game to have it unfold the way that they wanted. And that was really all I talked about at the end of last week. I wasn't going to give you a ton of information on how Army's outside linebackers play, whether they're a primary man team or a primary zone team. I'm not telling you about the honors that their left guard has gotten over his college career. This is not when we're breaking down a bunch of X and O's and matchups. I just said, look, LSU needs to come out, play fast, get some stops, get this thing decided early, and then get some younger players some reps, rest some guys that may be dinged up. And that's exactly what LSU did. They started fast on offense. They played disciplined on defense. They were in the right spot. They made the tackles, and they got this thing to a blowout at halftime, and were able to sit Jaden Daniels. We're able to get some freshmen involved. You saw a big play from Trey Holly, and you saw a lot of guys on defense that haven't played a lot that got a chance to play. So mission accomplished from that perspective. I thought LSU tackled well in the game. You saw Army trying to do their option stuff, and LSU was generally in the right place and making tackles. And really the biggest takeaway that I had from this game was the night and the memory for Andre Sam. Andre Sam is an exceptionally easy guy to pull for. He had some tragedy early in his life. He has gone to McNeese and then to Marshall and then to Tulane and then to LSU. He's a Louisiana guy who's gotten this opportunity, and I don't know how many of you were listening in August when we talked about Andre Sam. And if you'd like to go check out the clips on YouTube, there was a great little piece that was done on Andre Sam when he was at Marshall. He's dealt with a significant speech impediment basically his entire life and has had to overcome a lot because of it, and has really done a great job of dealing with that and being himself. And he's by all accounts, a tremendous young man who's getting the opportunity of a lifetime as a Louisiana kid who grew up in south of I-10 down here and has an opportunity after playing at McNeese and then playing at Marshall to play for LSU. And for him to have the opportunity to go out there on a Saturday night in Death Valley and to make those 2 interceptions and make those big plays and have that memory that he'll take with him after 6 years of college football, I thought was really, really cool. And Brian Kelly was asked after the game about Andre Sam's progression in the defensive backfield.
His patience is really what's starting to show. I thought he took himself out of some plays early in the year being maybe just a little too aggressive or out of control. If you remember early on, maybe some missed tackles. He's really settled in and is playing confident, patrolling the middle of the field. He had a couple maybe, he'd like to have back, or he'd had 4 interceptions. But playing at a high level, we need him to continue to do that. If he does, he presents a solid piece for us back there.
Yeah, he was an aggressive player. That was the what we had heard about Andre Sam when he came to LSU. Of course, he played for Frank Wilson at McNeese. And I'll tell you this, in a secondary that did not make a lot of plays that I saw in fall camp, when there was a play made, it was usually Andre Sam. He was usually the one that was making the tackle. He was usually the one that was getting his hands on the ball. Like most of the time when I went out to fall camp, you saw the defense in big trouble. And when they did make a play, it felt like, oh, there's 14. That's not a guy I even considered really going out to practice the first time. And I was like, I think he's going to play a lot. And now, because of the numbers in LSU secondary, which we'll talk about in the next segment, Sam has gotten an opportunity to play and had a big night on Saturday night in Death Valley. As far as the offense goes, the other piece of this puzzle from Saturday night, look, the numbers are fantastic, as you would expect. LSU threw it for 369 yards and ran it for another 201, so a 570-yard outburst by the offense. I realize they're playing Army, and Army's not a very good college football team, but it is just sometimes impressive to watch the offense and look how easy they make things. I mean, it's like the first play, they come out and boom, there's Kyron Lacey for 12 yards. And they just go right down the field. And Neighbors, 4 catches, 2 of them for touchdowns. Brian Thomas, 3 catches, 2 of them for touchdowns. And then you kind of sit down and you let a lot of the other guys get out there and play. Chris Hilton made a couple of catches. Saw Aaron Anderson get out there for a couple catches as well. Kyron Lacey had 3 catches in the game. They were able to spread the ball around a little bit in this game, and it just looks so easy. Jaden Daniels just makes it look so easy. And the highlight play for me from him in the game is obviously the play where he rolls to his right and flicks it down the field, and Brian Thomas is able to run under it and make the catch. And that's just one of those plays. I tweeted this out, and I said it on the postgame show as well. Like, those are the kind of plays that make me think Jaden Daniels has a chance to be an NFL quarterback. I don't know. It was easy to tell with Burrow. Daniels, this has been such a meteoric rise, and he doesn't have a huge arm, or he's a little slender in terms of his build. And you got to win NFL games from the pocket, although most of the quarterbacks do have a degree of athleticism at this point. There aren't a lot of guys that look like Peyton Manning and Terry Bradshaw and Troy Aikman out there these days. You don't have a lot of big statues. You've got a lot of guys that move, that are making plays in the NFL, and Jaden Daniels certainly falls into that category. But that's one of those throws to be able to evade the pressure, use your athleticism to extend the play, and then have the accuracy on the run to drop that thing right in the bucket over the top and hit Brian Thomas in stride, and there was no chance Army was going to catch him. That was an NFL-type play. It was really, really good, and we're just watching quarterbacking at such an elite level right now. He was 11 of 15 in the game, 279 yards, 3 touchdowns, did not throw an interception, and didn't really have to run at all, which it's very, very rare when I get to the postgame show and fire up the stat sheet that I look at Jaden Daniels, 6 yards rushing. He usually got 86, and this time he just kind of did his damage from the pocket and then got out of the game at halftime, which is exactly what you wanted to see. You wanted to see Jaden Daniels off the field and just watching the rest of the night, and that's what you got. Garrett Nussmeier went out there, of course, hit the deep ball over the top on his first drive, and I thought played pretty well. 7 of 12 for 90 yards, and that deep one over the top, which was a really nice throw for a long touchdown. Trey Holly got the big play, the 67-yard touchdown run, showed some speed there. Nice to see Noah Kane get involved, a guy that puts in a ton of hard work, and he got in the end zone in the game. I was looking to see more of Caleb Jackson, quite frankly, but you only saw Caleb Jackson for 2 carries in the game. They were going to give some of the other guys that haven't played at all an opportunity to go, and I understand that, and it's a 55-0 game. You got a guy that you're counting on the rest of the way that may not want to put him at risk. But I was hoping to see a little bit more of Caleb Jackson. We did not see that. It was more of Noah Kane and Trey Holly. You know what? That's just fine. You got out of there and got everything you needed to accomplish into the bye week, and now got an opportunity to rest up and go play against Alabama, which we found out today is going to be in prime time on CBS, as we all expected. That'll be a 6:45 kickoff. The last order of business from the game is going to be our Citizens Bank and Trust poll question of the day. I'm certain that it will I will be in the minority, but that's okay. I'm just curious. Did you like the uniforms? Did you like LSU going with the gold helmet, the white jersey, the traditional jersey, and then the white pants? I hated it, but that should come as no surprise. I generally only like the classics, and I just thought it was kind of a mismatch of stripes and just looked awkward, and I felt like I was looking at Denham Springs or Letcher High School. That's what it looked like to me. My opinion doesn't mean anything, but I hated it. So it's an old man yells at cloud. Hester got mad at me this morning on the air. T-Bob disagrees with me. I know. I'm not here to just to rain on everyone's parade all the time. I just love LSU's classic uniforms. I want them to wear them every game. And then when they mix it up, I generally go, I don't like that. And that was the case on Saturday. So we'll see at the end of the show. We'll go back and look at the results. Just a simple, how'd you feel about LSU's uniforms on Saturday night? Loved them, didn't like them. We'll just leave it at 2. That's fine. We're not going to have any middle ground here. Just state your case and pick a side. We'll see what the results are at the end of the show. I've got a feeling when we look back on it, most people are going to say, I loved them, loved the all-whites. Because when I tweeted about it, that was the only response I got was that everyone loves LSU when they go all-white. Well, they went all-white in Oxford in 2015 and got beat by 1 million. They went all-white last year against Tennessee and got beat by 1 million. They redeemed themselves in the all-white in this one, 62-0. Hey, thanks for watching Hunt on LSU. Before you get out of here, do us a couple of favors. Hit that like button, leave your comments below, and subscribe to the channel for all your Fighting Tiger football talk. See you next time.